On the morning of March 11, 2004, the streets of Madrid carried a restless energy. Commuters hustled to the trains, coffee in hand, unaware that in just a few minutes their daily routines would be shattered forever. At exactly 7:37 a.m., a series of explosions ripped through four packed commuter trains, each blast striking with deadly precision. The initial roar of metal and fire was followed by screams, the sickening crush of bodies, and a cloud of smoke that blanketed the platforms. In an instant, Madrid transformed from a city alive with ordinary life into a scene of chaos and horror. Among the victims was 23-year-old Maria Gonzalez, a nursing student with a bright future who had been on her way to university. Her friends later described her as full of life, always helping others, impossible to upset. She never made it past the first station, her life cut tragically short in a matter of seconds. Across the trains, fathers, mothers, students, and professionals alike found themselves trapped in a nightmare they could not escape. Witnesses later spoke of people holding on to each other, crying, and calling out for loved ones, while the scent of burning metal and scorched clothing filled the air. The attacks were meticulously planned. Investigators quickly discovered that all explosives had been concealed in backpacks, left on the trains just before rush hour. It became clear this was not a random act of violence. Someone had studied the schedules, the flow of commuters, the timing of each train's arrival. Authorities initially suspected ETA, the Basque separatist group, but the trail led instead to a cell inspired by extremist ideologies abroad, bringing an international dimension to the tragedy. Each piece of evidence, the fragments of detonators, the remnants of timers, CCTV footage showing suspicious individuals, pointed toward a coordinated effort designed to maximize destruction. In the aftermath, Madrid itself seemed paralyzed. Hospitals overflowed with the injured, families huddled in the streets, desperate for news. Police worked around the clock, combing through debris, questioning witnesses, and piecing together the timeline of terror. Every recovered fingerprint and fiber became a clue in the sprawling investigation. The nation watched in horror as the scale of the attack was revealed. 191 dead, over 2,000 wounded, lives irrevocably changed in a single morning. Among the first responders was Lieutenant Javier Ruiz, a man known for his calm under pressure. He coordinated rescue efforts at Atocha Station, guiding survivors out of twisted metal and into ambulances. He would later recount how he carried a woman on his back for over 100 meters, the smoke and heat pressing down on him, her faint heartbeat a reminder of what was at stake. Suspects were soon identified, and the investigation revealed a web of individuals who had meticulously plotted the bombings. Authorities traced connections to a network of men who had rented safe houses across Madrid, stored explosives, and coordinated the attacks via encrypted communications. One key figure, Jamal Zougam, emerged as a central player. He was captured through a combination of surveillance footage, witness reports, and forensic analysis linking him to the explosives. Zougam had no criminal record prior to the attacks, a fact that shocked investigators and the public alike. His calm demeanor during interrogation, contrasted with the gravity of the evidence against him, created an unsettling portrait of a man capable of unimaginable violence. Courtroom proceedings unfolded over several years, each session revealing more about the bomber's motivations, methods, and connections. Families of victims attended in silence, some holding photos of their lost loved ones, others struggling to contain their grief. Testimonies painted a chilling picture. Zougam and his accomplices had studied Spanish infrastructure, identified crowded trains, and executed a plan that would terrorize a nation. Experts explained how the improvised explosive devices worked, the precision required to detonate multiple bombs simultaneously, and the sheer scale of human devastation. Jurors listened as survivors recounted their harrowing experiences, their voices trembling yet resolute. One young man described the moment he realized his best friend was gone. "I saw his bag, burned and torn, and I knew he didn't make it." It was a scene that left the courtroom silent. the weight of collective loss hanging in the air. Twists emerged as the trial progressed. Initially thought to be motivated solely by political ideology, investigators uncovered evidence suggesting personal radicalization fueled by extremist networks online. Connections to broader terror organizations were explored, exposing how global influence and local grievances intertwined to create tragedy on home soil. Experts testified about radicalization patterns, the ease with which ordinary individuals could be drawn into extremist plots, and the chilling normalcy of the perpetrators' lives before the attacks. This revelation stunned the public and reinforced the unsettling truth that horror often arises from the most mundane places. The climax of the trial arrived when forensic experts presented their final findings, linking Zugum to the precise explosives used in the bombings. CCTV footage captured him entering and leaving locations where bombs had been assembled. Fingerprints and DNA evidence corroborated witness accounts, leaving no doubt about his involvement. In a courtroom heavy with tension, the judge delivered the sentence: life imprisonment without parole. For the families of the victims, it was a measure of justice, yet insufficient to erase the trauma and grief that lingered in their hearts. In the years following, Madrid rebuilt, yet scars remained visible. Plaques and memorials were placed at stations. Flowers and candles became daily offerings at sites where lives had been stolen. Survivors shared stories, slowly reclaiming fragments of life disrupted by violence. The nation reflected on resilience, security protocols, and the need to remain vigilant without succumbing to fear. Analysts studied the attacks to prevent future tragedies, emphasizing intelligence sharing, emergency response training, and community awareness. But even now, the echoes of that morning linger. In quiet moments, the memories of the victims, Maria, her friends, countless commuters, resurface, reminding the world of fragility and the suddenness with which life can be ripped away. The Madrid train bombings of 2004 were not just a headline or a statistic. They were a profound reminder of both human vulnerability and courage. Stories of survival, bravery, and compassion emerged amid the horror. Strangers pulling each other from wreckage, medics risking their lives, and citizens uniting in grief and determination. These narratives formed the backbone of a city's recovery, even as the pain of loss remained. As investigations continue to be studied, and as memorials are visited each year, the story of March 11th serves as a haunting testament to the cost of terror. It teaches the world about vigilance, the fragility of everyday life, and the resilience required to confront evil. And for those who lived through it, the memory is as immediate as the morning of the attack itself. The roar of the explosions, the smoke, the cries, and the faces of those who would never return home. If stories like this keep you hooked, hit subscribe for more. The city learned that terror could arrive in the blink of an eye, but so too could courage, forever etched into the memory of Madrid.